Hey guys, it's Mellony. I'm going to do a hip flow. So just to open up the hips and just strengthen the hips a little bit and get some stretch in there. But I am so happy to be able to practice. I got the heat on, as you can tell. I love the heat in my yoga practice. The only thing that's missing is you guys to make it a little bit hotter for me. But I just want you to have fun with this. You see I have some props here. I do have also a set of 5-pound weights. I just wanted to have those out just so I could remind you that you can use weights in your yoga practice, going through some of the flows. I'm not going to use them for time's sake just because sometimes it can waste a little bit of time picking them up and putting them down. But you know, be creative with your practice. If you need a little strength, if you're used to going to the gym and you're missing your gym workout, add a little weight into your yoga practice and see what it's like. You can build a lot of strength with just physical body weight, but also adding a little bit, 3-pound, 5-pound weights. Some of you can go up to 7.5 or even 10. So be creative and share your little video clips if you want. You can even just send them to our page. You don't have to put it out there for the whole world to see. So I'm going to start on my back just to warm my hips up. And for most of you that come to my class, you know that I deal with a little IT band hamstring issue on my left leg. So blocks are a beautiful thing, especially in the practice if you are dealing with any issues. So find your way onto the back and just kind of traction out your spine. Just wiggle your hips down away from the rib cage. Placing the feet down on the floor wider than your hips. And you're just going to windshield wipe your legs to start. And what you'll feel is a nice little stretch in the outer right thigh, working down the IT bands. And then work just really slow right to left. And just feel the mobility in the hip joint. It's the ball joint that moves you throughout your day, throughout your life. So important to keep your hips healthy, just as well as your knees and your ankles. All of them tie in together. So as you're moving here, make sure you're breathing, and then find that connection with your back onto the mat. Maybe you find a little baby scoop of the pelvis, and just working, massaging the lower back as you're massaging and moving through the hips, just getting some fluid in the hips for that great motion. We'll do one more each side, and just taking your time, taking this time to really check in, see what's happening in the physical body, in the lower portion of the body. I call it the lower brain. So slowly coming up, heel toe the feet together, just till they're hip distance apart. We're going to go to thread the needle, so a reclined pigeon pose. Right hand comes right in between the thighs. You can grab over the shin, but know your guide is your head. If you can't rest your head on the floor when you have your shin, bring your hand back behind your thigh. So the head's going to rest on the floor. You just gently flex that right foot. Remember, this is one of the first stretches that I'm doing this morning, so I'm going to take it easy. I'm not going to pull, not going to do too much upper body strength. I'm going to find a little bit of organic movement, just working into my little sticky spots. And when I find that really sweet spot, I'm going to pause there and just breathe and pull in nice and slow. Breathe, take your breath where your body desires it most. One more breath, inflate the back body. And as you exhale, just gently pull in. And then going into one of my favorite poses, and I saw Yana post this pose the other day and said it was her favorite pose too. So a little bit deeper into the IT band, you're going to carry that right foot to the floor as the left knee folds down. Placing the sole of the foot on the floor. There's a lot of different variations to this pose. This is my favorite one, more the modified variation, because I can really get into my IT bands a bit more, especially dealing with those hamstring issues on the opposite side. Sometimes straightening my leg is a little too much, so I like to keep it equal on both sides. So you work with your rib cage here and your hip cage, so you drop the hips down as you lengthen the ribs away from the hips, lengthening that right hip away from the lower right rib cage, and then draw down to the ribs. Breathe across the collarbones. And as you exhale, gently pull the belly up and in. So not aggressively moving. Remember, we're just doing a little warm up. And change. So sometimes that organic movement, like you saw me actually physically moving, is an organic movement. Sometimes you can find a lot of organic movement just by facilitating a deeper breath. So working into that reclined pigeon on the opposite side. So I do lift my hand to grab and I lengthen out the upper spine, resting the back of the head on the floor.
A slight flexion of the left foot, and I find those sweet spots. This one's definitely got a lot of sweet spots. So I just move nice and slow through it, and then I gently just pull in, lengthen the crown of the head out, and chin just slightly in towards the chest. Just tractioning out the entire spine. Take your breath deep and wide. One more breath. And release. Right foot comes down, hand to the left ankle, right hand, drop that right knee slowly to the floor, carry the left foot, plant the sole of the foot. If it's available, you reach out through the left arm. You find those little movements, just kind of find a nice respect for that left leg, and then work with that left side body to really find a deeper sensation with the breath. As long as the breath is free moving, you can facilitate a nice full breath. Find that ujjayi breath. You're in the right place. If it starts to get short and shallow, know that you probably pushed yourself a little too far and back out. We talk about an edge in yoga a lot. You don't want to go to your deepest edge, especially in your yin practice. This is more of a yin type pose. You just want to go to a soft edge and find it and allow the body to open on its own natural time. One more breath here. Inhale, widen through the rib cage, lengthen through the lower back. And exhale. And then slowly bring it back to center. Placing that left foot on the floor, bringing both knees into the chest, nice and slow. Take them a little wide, grab on the top of the shins, below the knees. You don't want to ever manipulate the knee joint too much. You don't want to grab right onto it and force it. They're very vulnerable joints. So it's small circles, circling it out. And for many of you that have been through a yin class, you hear us talk about the detoxification benefits to it because there's so much compression in these areas where we hold these internal organs. So right now I'm working the kidney, the liver, and the spleen with the pressure on the lower back and the lower ribs. And all of us can benefit from that. So grabbing the back of the thighs, rock and roll yourself up. If you can't rock and roll, you can roll to the right or left side. We're going to bring ourselves up, all the way up, cross your ankles, find your way into tabletop pose. So you see my blocks here already. You can even use blocks if you don't have little weights, just to add a little weight to your practice. And I'll try to bring it into some part of the practice. Curl the toes, drop the belly, gaze up. As you exhale, uncurl the toes, press to the tops of the feet, around the spine, knit the ribs. One more time, inhale, curl the toes, gaze up. And as you exhale, round the spine. So a lot of times we'll compartmentalize our bodies in our yoga practice, thinking the hips are just the hips. But the lower core, the pelvic floor, is so much of the hips. So we're going to start to work and build some heat in that lower belly, through the full core and the upper body. So you're going to bring yourselves to the tops of the feet. If you need to curl the toes, but we're going to lift the knees off the floor about an inch and press into the arms and knit the ribs in. Braid the lower belly, mid belly, upper belly up into the spine. Hold here for 3, for 2. Keep drawing up and in. And 1. You'll notice the more you start to engage your core, the lighter you'll feel in your hands and the tops of the feet. Drop the knees down to the floor. Lower your hips back towards your heels. Find your child's pose. Extend through the arms. Lift up to the fingertips. Feel the arms start to engage. Maybe find a little side-to-side movement. Tractioning out the body, the upper body, lengthening down towards the heels. And then pick your chest up and walk yourself over to your right side, keeping the left hip pressed as close to that left heel as you can. Maybe even take the left hand to the right top hand. Relax the palm down. Feel a nice stretch through the side. And then slowly come back to center. So walking the hands through center, walking off the left side of the mat. Drop that right hip back towards the right heel. Maybe take the right hand, not necessary though. And then maybe web the fingers together or just place it softly on there and breathe through that side body. And some of you may even have the opportunity to find that organic movement, just lifting the right shoulder, floating it down. Find what works best for you. The beauty of us doing these videos is that you can rewind them and do these poses 2 times if you'd like. And then slowly come back to center. Inhale, cat curl yourself up. And then go ahead and press your way back into your downward facing dog. So dropping your chest towards your thighs, spreading your fingers wide, walking out the legs if you need to. Maybe bend the knees deeply, traction on the spine. Start to find that core so you feel lighter in the legs and the arms. Deep Ujjayi breath, 2. 1. Separate the feet hip distance apart. Bend your knees. Come high to the balls of the feet. I want you to step your hands one foot at a time towards the feet. As you slowly start to relax the heels down, keep the knees bent, find yourself into a deep forward fold. Grab opposite elbows, let yourself hang here in ragdoll. Breathe deep, big back body. Release the hands down, float your chin to your chest, press into the feet, round yourself up 1 vertebra at a time. Roll the shoulders back, hands by your side. Inhale, circle the sun, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, forward fold. Keeping those feet at hip distance apart, inhale, lengthen. This is where you could grab one of those blocks if you needed to. Place it in front of the right foot. You're going to bend that right knee, straighten your left leg, lengthen out through the crown of the head. And if you weren't using the block, you could actually use your TP fingers, or the more flexibility you have, plant the palm to the floor. So lengthen out through the crown of the head, and then twist open to the left. Left leg stays straight, so we're going to get a nice deeper stretch through that left outer leg, and left arm comes up. Keep lengthening as much as you can, ribs from hips, and twisting. One more breath. And then left hand floats down. Switch your block if you need it, or come to those TP fingers. You're going to soft bend into that left leg. Pause here for a moment. Let the leg relax from the stretch. You're going to straighten that right leg, lengthen through the crown of the head, through the torso, and then find that twist open to the right. So you're grounding equally through the 4 points of your right foot, and you're lifting up through that right hip as you lengthen through the chest. One more breath. Put that left hand down, bend both knees, let both legs relax. Remove that block if you have it. Inhale, lengthen, and then walk yourself back out. Slowly coming back up onto the balls of the feet. As you slowly walk forward, find your full down dog. Press the chest back towards the thighs. Relax the heels down. Spread the shoulders, make space in the shoulder joints. 2. Relax the head. 1. Inhale, come forward, high plank pose. Drop your right knee to the floor. Turn the toes out, pivot the back foot flat. Open up, modified side plank pose. Left arm comes over the ear. And then float that left hand down. Press your way back. High plank pose. If you need to, use your knees to modify the plank pose. Press back, downward facing dog. Looking forward between your hands, tiptoe yourself to the top of your mat. So this time we're going to bend our knees as much as we need to. Slowly coming forward. Step the feet. Feet come together as close as you can get them. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Rise, inhale, circle the sun. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Inhale, circle the sun. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step your left leg back.
your lunge pose, find some circles in the hips. Just moving through the hips again. Float the left knee to the floor. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Sink down through the left hip. So there's an action in that right foot. It's just gently guiding back. Just working on squaring off the hips. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. We're going to straighten that right leg. Lift your right toes, pivot on your heel. Walk your hands over, all the way over to the left side. So come into that lunge pose. Circle through the hips. Float the right knee down, come into your low lunge. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Pull that pelvic floor up, lower belly in. And then we're going to pick the back knee up, step back, high plank pose. We're going to float that left knee down, turn the toes out, pivot that back foot flat, come up into that modified side plank pose. Sweep the right arm over the ear. Inhale, arm comes up. Right hand comes down, high plank pose. Go ahead and walk your hands back to your feet. Bend into the knees. Inhale, circle the sun, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive, flat back fold. Walk yourself up. High plank pose. Lower down, chaturanga. Up dog cobra pose. And float your way back. Downward facing dog. Looking forward between your hands, you can step or float to the top of your mat. Lengthen up. As you exhale, deep fold. Rise, inhale, arms come up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Step your right leg back, lunge pose. Crescent lunge, sweep the arms to the sky. We're going to do a couple little half lunges here, so float the knee down to a hover. And then slowly press into that left leg, pick the knee up. 3. So this is where you can add the weights, holding the weights. You can even drop them down, lift them up, drop them down, lift them up. Last one, float down, lift up, hold. And warrior 2, open yourself up. Sink deep into the hips. Gaze over the left fingertip. Inhale, one pumping warrior. So really control the hip flexor, control the traction of the knee as you track it right over the second and third toe. And then inhale, straighten the leg, lift the left toes, pivot on the heel. Lift your right toes, pivot on your heel. We're going to bend that foot, come into your crescent lunge. We're going to float down through the knee, press up through the right leg. 3, 2, 1. Open it up, warrior 2. Straighten the leg, lift the arms, maybe even lift the gaze. Exhale, lunge. Straighten the leg, lift the arms. Lift your right toes, pivot on your heel. So you're going to turn your toes out and your heels in, coming down into your goddess pose. So working the hips side to side, find your sweet spot, scoop the pelvis, slowly coming down, trying to get the quadriceps parallel to the floor. Arms charge forward. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Press yourself up. Arms come up. Toes turn in. So make the feet parallel to one another. We're coming into wide-legged fierce chair pose. So slowly coming down. Really settling back into those hips, into the heels. Balls of the feet. Pinky toe side edge is grounded too. So reach back, reach forward. If it's too much on the arms, you can cactus the arms or even grab opposite elbows here. Knit the ribs in. Nestle the rib cage in between the thighs. So you want outer and inner thighs working here. Strong in the back side. 3, heels. Inhale all the way up. Step the feet together. Inhale. As you exhale, come into closed-legged fierce chair pose. Weight back into the heels. Strong in the outer and inner thighs. So feel that strength work up into the hips. Sweep the arms back, palms face up, chest pulls forward. Chest can lift a little bit. Come into chair pose. Nice and slow. Exhale, sweep it back. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, sweep it back. Palms face up, really engage the triceps here. Press against something imaginary behind you. You could have your weights here. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep it back. Inhale one more time. Exhale, sweep it back. Inhale, slowly come up. Step out. Keep the feet wide. Come back to that wide-legged fierce chair pose. Place the hands down. Slowly lift the hips. Heel toe the feet apart. So slightly turn the toes in, heels out. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, deep fold.
So walking the hands through, fingertips point towards the mat behind you. Maybe you draw down, bending the knees as much as you need to. All 4 points of each foot are rooted. Slight inner rotation of the thighs. Neck is relaxed. Walk yourself forward, lengthen yourself out. Lift your left toes, pivot on your heel, bend into the knee, windmill your arms up, warrior two. Straighten the leg with the arms. Drop the arms down, keep the left leg straight, extended triangle pose. Stretch out over the toes, left hand down, right arm up. So scoop the left hip under, lift up through the right rib cage, lengthen through the crown of the head. Breathe everywhere. Inhale, slowly coming up. Lift your left toes, pivot on your heel. Lift your right toes, pivot on your heel. Come into that warrior two. Nice and slow, guided knee. Straighten the leg, lift the arms. Come into your extended triangle pose. Hands come down, stretch out over the toes. Right hand comes down, left arm comes up. Find that little scoop. Right hip under. Lengthen the ribs from the hips. Keep the ribs knitted. One more breath. Inhale, slowly coming up. And into that right knee. Windmill the arms down. Step your right leg back, top of the push-up. Lower down, chaturanga. Up dog cobra pose. Float your way back. Downward facing dog. So separate your feet hip distance apart. Bend your knees, walk your hands towards your feet. Keeping the knees bent, I want you to scoop up your big toes. If you can't get the big toes, grab upper arm bones. Inhale, half lift. As you exhale, deep fold. Breathe full back body breath. Two breath. One breath. Release the toes, walk yourself out, downward facing dog. Right leg will rise. As you exhale, shift forward, bring your knee to your nose. Inhale, right leg will rise. Exhale, shift forward, bring that right knee over to the left armpit, keep the shoulders squared. Inhale, right leg will rise. As you exhale, bring that right knee outside right shoulder. Inhale, right leg will rise. Shift forward, bring the knee to the nose, step the foot through, crescent lunge. Sweep the arms to the sky. Float that left knee to the floor. Fold into your half split, hands come down. Maybe the buttock settles to the left heel, maybe not. Find your variation of the pose. Breathe through the whole back leg. Shift forward. We're gonna come right up into our crescent lunge and then move right into warrior three. So slowly coming up,
into balance. So you can bring your hands to your hips here. You can stretch your arms out wide, or you can bring them to blocks. So we're gonna add a little lower belly, core strengthen, glute strength, and working that hip flexor. So arms come out, hands come to prayer. As you exhale, you're gonna hug your knee in. So if you had your blocks, you'd extend out. Get as long as you can, as engaged as you can. As you exhale, hug it in. Inhale, coming out. Exhale, bring it in. 3. Inhale, lengthen it out. Nice and slow here, use control. Exhale, bring it in. 2. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, bring it in. 1. Inhale, lengthen it out. Place the hands down, find yourself into your needle pose. Those of you that are handstanders, you know what to do here. 3 breaths. If you're not a handstander, you're gonna corkscrew it. Bringing that left knee behind the right calf, getting as low as you can. Stay in control with that right knee. Inhale, lengthen, lighten the hands. Exhale, 2. So we're not using momentum, so you're not just kicking the leg up, you're really pressing it up. Exhale, bring it in. One more time, inhale, lengthen. And then slowly step it back. Find that crescent lunge, sweep the arms up. Straighten that right leg. Lift your toes, pivot on your heel. Lift your left toes, pivot on your heel, come into your crescent lunge. Float that right knee down. Find that half split pose. So this is the side that I have a lot of sweet spots. So I don't go down as far. You'll always notice that. I always find a little organic movement in it, just flushing it out. 3, 2, 1. Slowly coming forward. Find that crescent lunge to start. So build your balance by building trust. Slowly coming up. Hands to heart, hands to hips, hands out, or hands to blocks. You choose. Sometimes I even like to get blocks just to find the alignment of the pose, especially with this sticky side. Really finding that inner rotation of my right leg. So this is outer, inner, lengthen, then going into the core. Inhale. As you exhale, hug the knee in. 5. Inhale, lengthen it out. 4. Inhale, lengthen it out. 3. Inhale, lengthen it out. 2. Inhale, lengthen it out. 1. Inhale, lengthen it out. So coming into that needle pose, hands down to the blocks or the floors. I'm going to use blocks on this side. Right leg up. Handstanders, you kick up. As you exhale, those of us that are corkscrewing, try to tuck that right knee behind the left calf. Stay strong in the left leg. Press up and lighten the hands. 2. Inhale up. 1. Inhale up. Place that right knee behind the left calf. We're going to come all the way down to the floor. Going into shoelace pose. I'm going to turn and face you guys now. So right leg is under left leg. You're going to work the feet away from each other and try to stack your knees. This isn't going to work for everybody. Some of you will look like this, big gap. If your left hip comes off the floor, settle a block underneath your sit bones. Or roll up your mat. You can turn your mat, roll up the end of the mat. You can roll up a towel. Try to get those legs as much as you can on top of each other. Hands come down, lengthen up. I'm always trying to remind people, build traction between your ribs and your hips. Because if we go in the pose like this, we're really not going to get into the hips like we're trying to. And whenever we do that traction, we're teaching ourselves to engage our core. So inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, simple forward fold. Make it simple. Two more breaths. So there's a couple different ways you can get into the opposite side. One would be literally just uncross your legs, the left leg will come over right. There's a nice little fun little twist that we like to do, a little break dance move. So you bring your hands over to your right side, you press your hips up, and you just pivot on your feet all the way around, and then that left leg will land on the right. Pretty fun. Most of you have probably done that. Sit bones down, traction, 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 slight engagement of that core, so I have a strong foundation in my hips, strong supported lower back, and then exhale, start to fold forward. And don't forget that ujjayi breath, the sweet breath. So one thing I can say while I'm sitting here is that I'm really gonna miss Monday night. There's a full moon on Tuesday, so I am gonna do a live stream of a full moon flow, just because that's our tradition when I get to teach right at a full moon, so I hope that you guys can join in for that too. We will put it on YouTube. Lengthen, exhale, fold. And slowly walk yourself up. We're gonna move right into a spinal twist. So just picking that right leg up. If you need to extend that bottom leg, you can. And I should have said this before in that shoelace pose. If it is way too much for you in your hips and you just cannot get grounded, always extend that bottom leg. So look like this. If we're in that shoelace pose, you would look like this. So the foot wouldn't be planted. But for the twist, we're gonna plant the foot. If you needed that modification to straighten the leg, you could, especially if you had a deep round in your spine. That's gonna help you build a stronger foundation so that you're not working so much with the tightness in your hip and your lower back. I'm gonna bend the leg. So both sit bones are down. We have a nice strong base. And we're gonna lift the left arm. Right hand comes behind you. Try to get that right hand in line with your spine as much as you can. Left arm lifts, builds space on that left side. Hook the elbow, lengthen up, and gently twist, gaze over the right shoulder. Keep that right sole of the foot down. A lot of us will curl up onto the pinky toe edge. Remember, we're trying to build foundation, strong, strong roots. Lengthen. Exhale, twist. And change. Do a little counter twist to the left. You can just twist, or you can do a little twisted push-up. And then press back up. Moving to the opposite side. So you could do that fancy twist if you wanted to. I'm just gonna switch the legs. So the left sole of the foot down, both sit bones are down. My foot is free from underneath this left hip. Sole of the foot is down, left hand comes behind me, trying to get the heel of the hand close to the sit bone, or I'm sorry, the tailbone. Right arm lifts, build space, hook the elbow, lengthen up, and gently twist. Change. So do that little twist, counter twist to the right, maybe roll over the right hip and do that little push up. All these things are optional, they're just suggestions. We're gonna go into butterfly pose, just to balance out the hips, balance out the back. So it's a diamond shape with your legs. Everybody likes a different size diamond, some people don't like them at all. So you can go really small, you can go really big. It depends on the flexibility of your hips. So we're not forcing it. And what we want to get is a really nice straight long back. So maybe the further you have your feet or your diamond away from your pelvis, it's going to allow you to lift up a bit more. And this could be your pose right here. Just holding onto the front shins and just really building that lower back strength and flexibility. If you have the flexibility, you drop the knees down. I'm still going to hold onto the front ankles. Some of you in other practices actually place your thumbs into the arches of the feet. Keep the big toe mounds glued together, draw up, and then slowly bend the elbows, lengthening heart forward. So we'll keep it partially engaged to start, so the legs are relaxed, they're dropping down, but you're a little strong in the core and in your arms, just tractioning out those ribs from the hips. Take one more breath here. As you exhale, let's go into a nice passive forward fold, just relaxing, folding, melting into it. Let the arms relax, and even turn the palms up here. Nice receiving gesture. So walk the hands in. Come into your cross-seated position. And I'm not going to do Shavasana in these classes. You know how important they are, but I feel like it's a little different when I'm not surrounded by all your wonderful energy. I feel your energy when I see you guys popping up on the screen, but it's a totally different thing when you're laying here by yourself. I can't wait to have another Shavasana with you guys. But let's place our palms down on our knees, connecting, lengthening up, drawing back, heart is open. Our hearts are so big right now because we really feel compassion for the people that have been affected by this virus, but we also feel gratitude if we are well and we are free of it. I think this yoga practice keeps us very strong, keeps us healthy, but there are other things we have to do. We have to stay strong instead of so fearful. So making sure that you continue with your rituals, your Ayurveda rituals. If you don't know much about that, this is a great time to learn about stuff like that. Drinking your warm lemon water in the morning and maybe continuing that throughout the day because that helps to clear mucus from the body. And the lemon is a strong vitamin C source, so upping your zinc, upping your vitamin C. Just taking good care of yourself, not taking this time. I've seen a lot of posts about people feeling like they're in hurricane mode or some type of indulgence mode where they're just maybe getting a little too still and snacking a little too much. So just try to stay as much as you can on your regular schedule and do things like this. We keep these flows nice and short so we know that we can be distracted at home. We are all in the same boat, but you guys don't have the studio like we do to use. We probably won't see as much in the studio after this because after today I don't think we are supposed to, but we're gonna try. So hands on your knees, eyes closed. Together, let's take a big breath in. Exhale out of your mouth. Just feel that wave of relaxation come through you, settle down through the lower body, lengthen up through the crown of the head. That was a beautiful breath. One more inhale. And exhale. Carry your hands to heart center with me, float your chin to the chest, self-honoring bow. Acknowledging your strength, acknowledging your intuitive wisdom to know what's right, and to stay safe and to stay free, but stay compassionate and have so much gratitude for this life, this gift that we were given, this physical body that we were gifted. Keep it healthy, keep it strong, keep it pure. Carry your hands to your forehead center, flutter the eyes open, and together bowing, we say Namaste.